Today on the Chat and Chew Show,
Expect you to stay for a long time. It's not like the waitress is waiting on you and all that kind of stuff, or a waiter. So we can just talk. We closed down the buffet.
Yeah.
So we got kicked out of the buffet still, and then made it to the parking lot, and then stood in the parking lot and talked for like another 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
We went
I
home.
love that.
Nothing says comfort like good food. Whether you're dealing with stress or heartache, or you just want to celebrate, talking with friends over good food always feels right on time. If we're honest, it has been hard during the pandemic to stay connected. Some of us are all zoomed out, and the need to be safe has conflicted with our need to see, touch, and feel each other. Not only that, how do you even start a friendship during COVID? Well, we believe where there's a will, there's a way. Today on the Chat and Chew Show, we'll share tips on how to win at gaining friends in real life, how to get creative during a pandemic, and why we cherish any opportunity to chat and chew with our friends. And we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments, what are some of your favorite things to cook and eat? Good food and friends keep you heart healthy. And really, there's just nothing like it.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Chat and Chew Show. My name is Betty,
And I'm Roxanne.
and we are, let me get a new word, ecstatic that you have joined us today. I say this all the time. There are millions, literally millions of podcasts and YouTubers out there, and that you clicked on our show. We cannot be more grateful. So thank you for that. As you know, this show is designed to empower you to do your relationships better. And all of us are in some type of relationship. And the goal is to navigate those relationships in a way that can be healthy for us and healthy for them. So this show was put together to give you tips and tricks and tools and things that you can think about so that you can make your relationships better. Now, wait a minute. We're not just talking about romantic relationships, although that's important. You are an auntie or an uncle. Give me some others, Roxy.
A zookeeper. What are they doing now? Are they still?
I think they're still keeping zoo.
Oh, okay, cool.
How many zookeepers do you know? This is
I don't know any, but I like just now. I was just wondering how they're doing.
Yeah. Hopefully they're doing good. So everything that you do in life, there is a relationship connected to it. And so you want to be able to do that well, because let me tell you, it can make your life miserable when you're going through relationship stuff. Isn't that true?
Horrible.
I mean, that just, go ahead.
Yes, like have you ever gone through like a breakup or have a horrible argument and you can't like even think at work and people
Yeah.
ask you questions and you're like, I really don't care.
Right.
Had an argument this morning.
Right. Or you've been on the phone with your sister and she says something, you say something, and you guys are and then you hang up. You're just like, you can't function. So again, this show is put together to give you, things to think about and tips and things so that you can make your relationships better. This show is called the Chat and Chew Show. And so today we're going to focus on the chew part of the show. So this is going to be a fun episode. So we'll see you on the other side of the break. All right, well, welcome back, everybody. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And today we want to focus on the chew part of Chat and Chew. And so I have a couple questions to ask Miss Roxy. Tell me, what is your favorite meal?
Ooh, Betty, that's such a hard question. Just okay. Favorite cheat meal is pizza.
Okay, like what kind?
So I like this tomato basil pizza from this place that should sponsor us. It's called Milano's, right? So it's almost like that. I don't know what you call it, if it's like authentic or something pizza, but
Okay.
it's like the dough isn't greasy. Like you can tell they made the dough.
Oh, nice.
It's like it's thinner on the bottom, but then like the pizza handles
Uh-huh.
are
Uh-huh.
thicker still, and it's still like that light doughy color and everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like fresh basil on top. The tomatoes are cut in big circles.
Oh,
Yeah, like it's real stuff on it, like and it's
yeah.
mozzarella, like real mozzarella. And it's funny. It has tomato sauce, of course. And it's funny because it doesn't have a lot of salt or any extra seasoning and stuff,
Hmm.
but it's just those fresh ingredients just taste so good
That,
together.
that doesn't sound like a cheat meal though. That just sounds like a, pizza, but it sounds healthier.
I guess it sounds cheap for me because it's like bread. I don't eat a lot of bread at home.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like when I'm really craving something, and also it's just me, right? So if I order a pizza, like I'm gonna be eating pizza for like 2 or 3 days.
That's
And
true.
so, so it's a cheat because it's like, okay, gonna eat this pizza
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and tomorrow for breakfast and everything. So
Right, right.
but how about you?
My favorite time of the day to eat is morning. I love breakfast. Like, oh my gosh, my favorite type of breakfast though are home fries. I do pork bacon. My family, they don't like pork bacon, but I will buy some pork bacon. They'll do turkey bacon,
Oh, okay.
pork bacon, and omelet with mushrooms and spinach and cheese and pancakes. And then I want to take a nap right after that. Now, I know how to cook that, but my favorite place to go is IHOP. I just
Nice.
love me some IHOP, their pancakes and all that. So that I just love breakfast. I mean, any kind of breakfast, honestly. I like oatmeal and all that,
Yeah.
cereal, all of it.
Yeah, breakfast is my favorite meal. Like my
Yeah,
yeah, and honestly, I could eat breakfast all day.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
any time of day for dinner, whatever. I could eat
No, I know you. Are you not eating? You don't eat meat. So what do you do for a meat for breakfast?
I actually don't. I really love eggs. I
Okay,
eat eggs on top of, in between anything.
okay,
I
okay,
add an egg to anything, honestly.
okay, okay.
So I love eggs. I can do like cheesy eggs. Like I like oatmeal and grits and stuff. But yeah, like if you give me eggs, I'll call it breakfast. Um, and
Uh-huh.
it's funny. I like IHOP too because they're so consistent with their pancakes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah,
But I normally actually like French toast. Just
yeah,
I
yeah,
love like some good bread and like the sprinkled sugar and all that stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
On some of our rest on some of the older episodes, you actually made French toast.
I did. I did.
Yeah, yeah, it looks so good. You say grits. Now, I didn't grow up eating grits, but as I've gotten older, I've had grits. Now, I don't like grits with salt and cheese and all that. I just like it with sugar, butter and sugar. Really? Yes, butter and sugar in your grits. Come on, who likes butter and sugar in their grits?
Oh, no,
Most people eat salt and pepper, and then cheese.
yeah,
I'm like,
salt and pepper and butter and cheese too. But
yeah,
now
yeah.
I do like butter in my oatmeal.
Okay, yeah, I'll do butter. That's how I grew up. In fact, we used to eat rice for breakfast sometimes, and we would put butter and sugar in the rice.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Really?
Yep, yep. That was in California, but
Huh.
my mother is from Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, and so maybe that's how they ate it. But the place that has the best grits of all time is Cracker Barrel.
Really?
I mean, is that what it's called, Cracker Barrel?
Cracker Barrel, are they a breakfast place? I call them a
Yeah, that's
breakfast.
the one with the rocking chairs.
Yeah, because I was
Okay, yes.
there. I even bought one of their skillets and everything.
Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna do this at home.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it is nothing like having a good meal and with good friends. Not long ago, I went to Minnesota to visit my son who moved there recently.
Mhm.
And I have a friend who lives there. And she was like, come on over. You got to come to the house. Come to the house. And I came there. We sat at her kitchen table. And is she, I want to say she's vegan. I think she's vegan. And she cooked like a spread. And we sat there, Roxanne, literally from dinner time till in the morning. When our butts got tired, we moved over to the couch. And it just reminded me of how good it is to have good friendship and conversation around a meal. If you think about it, when someone comes to your house, we gather kind of around the kitchen and we conversate around and we pick. So is there a time where you could think of where you were with a group of folks or just one person and it was a good meal and good conversation?
Mm. Okay, I can think of tons of times where I was in a restaurant with good friends, good conversation, and we were there so long they wanted to kick us out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely, we definitely closed down quite a few restaurants.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
especially like go to a buffet and you feel like we're at a buffet. We got time. Like they expect you to sit here. And
Right, right.
I've been with a friend, and we were like, oh, we're gonna go to a buffet because they expect you to stay for a long time. It's not like the waitress is waiting on you and all that kind of stuff, or a waiter. So we can just talk. We
Mhm.
closed down the buffet.
Yeah.
So we got kicked out of the buffet still, and then made it to the parking lot, and then stood in the parking lot and talked for like another 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
We went
I
home.
love that. Oh, I love that. I love that. It's something so refreshing to you, not to your soul. The food, the food don't even have to be good, honestly. You just eat anyway. And then it's something nourishing about just conversating, and I feel like I'm such a random person. So my friend Sherry, and you will do this too, Roxanne. You just let me be random. I'll go from one thing to the next, on the stuff in my head. But we need people like that in our lives and friendships and that like in our lives and such.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a short break, and then when we come back, Roxy and I are going to describe to you some of our favorite recipes.
Now, a delicious word. Let's chew.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Roxanne, and today we're making some good Gouda grits. Gouda grits are pretty much the same as cheesy cheddar grits, but we're just going to use some Gouda cheese. So we're going to get started by making our grits, and you can follow the instructions on any grits package that you get to make your grits. I would just recommend not using instant grits for this. So I made my stovetop grits with some water, bringing that to a boil with like a little bit of salt in that. And then I added my grits to the water, turned it on low, covered it up, and then stirred it periodically to keep the grits from sticking to the bottom of the pot. You can also use milk in place of the water as your base, and that will give you a creamier grit. I'm just not using that as I try to stay away from milk when I can. So once our grits are done, and that can take about 20 minutes or so, we're going to actually now add our Gouda cheese in, and we're also going to add butter, because why would you not add butter to things? So we're going to add, I'm going to be actually heavy-handed with my Gouda cheese because I love the flavor of Gouda cheese, and I just want that to really kind of take over my grits. And then also I'm going to be a little bit heavy-handed with my butter, because that also is adding a counter flavor, if you will, and it's giving me my salt, it's giving me just that, I hate to say oily, but that buttery taste. So I'm going to be heavy-handed with those two things and pretty much flavor the entire pot with those two things. But where I'm going to be light-handed is with my salt. So I want to do these two things first because there's salt in the butter, there's salt in our cheese, and so we don't want to have like overly salty grits. So I'm going to do those things first and then taste it to see where we are with that, and then lightly sprinkle salt as needed into the pot as well. And so once that's all flavored, I'm going to plate it. I'm going to plate it, go ahead and put it in my bowl. And once I have that in my bowl, I'm going to add some green chive, add chives, which are like our green onions, and then also some fresh ground pepper on top, just because those just add a little extra oomph to the flavor, and it gives it that more savory taste. And then the chives add a little crunch as well as you're eating the grits. So I'm going to add those two things, and pretty much my dish is good to go now. So you won't get that like cheesy, you know, how sometimes there's a whole layer of cheddar cheese baked on top of the grits and that kind of thing. It's not that kind of dish where you see the cheese pulling away and all that, but it will be packed with flavor when you're eating that grit, and you won't really need to add anything once you're done making it. And it's pretty filling on its own. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. All right. Until next time.
Welcome back. So we are talking about food and friends and how good it feels to have those two things together. and, and so Betty, when we left off, you were telling us how, it's so nice to have like friends that let you be random. What does that do for you?
Um, I think the only word that's coming to my mind, it just nourishes your soul. That's the only word that I can think of right now. It's just, you walk away feeling like whatever was burdening you, now you're able to get it out and to get it off, and you feel lighter,
Yeah.
you feel heard, you
Yeah.
feel, loved in some cases,
Yeah.
so it's a good thing.
Yeah, because that sometimes like doesn't it feel like the burden is heavier when you're like carrying it all carrying by yourself? Like even if someone can't do anything about it,
Yeah.
it just feels like I can let that out.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Like I was
yeah,
able to tell someone,
yeah.
that was
And it's nice to tell someone who's not like going to school you or judge you, or they just let you go. Just let you be
yeah,
random.
yeah.
My friend Sherry, I was telling you, in Minnesota, what she does, and I didn't even notice this. This could be why we talked so long, is that she's like, so then what else happened? And she like prides you on, and you're like, okay, you want to hear the whole story then? Okay, and then you're able to get the whole story out, because most people, everybody's busy. They're just like, they want to hear, get 7 highlights.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes you need to sit in front of a meal. It can be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Like you said, close the restaurant down and just say, okay, this is what happened. And then go through, just to get it out. Now, sometimes you need a therapist too to do that. But it's something about that.
Yeah,
What does it do for you?
it's the same. It is that feeling because I have a tendency to be very private and like and have these problems in my head that I think it's just me. Like I'm the only one going through this.
Yeah.
So it's the same, like being able to share and someone go, oh, I went through that before, or oh, girl, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through that now, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
oh, it's not just me. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think, oh, I'm going through this, or this is happening because I messed up.
Mm.
And if I would have, it's just all the story is going on in my head, right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking to anybody. And then the moment you just sit down with a good friend and talk about, even sometimes it's the smallest thing, like that is getting on my nerves. Does it get on my nerves? Get on your nerves when that happens or whatever? And they go,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like, okay, I'm not losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a funny story about my job, one of my old jobs, right? It was like a smaller business, and we really just had to like, we managed our work. We had a lot of autonomy. As long as you got your work done, it was good. And so it's funny, they had like a strategic planner come in, and he was like interviewing us. And it's just like four of us that work in the same section. And he interviews separately, just trying to see, okay, well, what's your workday like? And by the time he got to me, I was the last person. He's like, so tell me about your workday. I was like, well, so I come in to work and then we all get together and talk about where we're going to get breakfast. And and then we go get breakfast and then we come back. We eat it. And then then we do our work. And he's like, you literally, I've talked to all four of you and you all say the same thing. And that was what we did. Like we would get breakfast, we come back, eat it together, And then, and you know, and just talk about whatever happened. Like, okay, and you know, like one person was married, one person just we were all in different stages of our lives, and we would sit there over breakfast at work, and
Wow.
while we ate our little like Chick-fil-A sandwiches and stuff. And then, but when it was time to get to work, though, it was like we could get to work and just flow. Like
Mm,
we had let all this stuff off our chest,
mm,
and we could just
mhm.
go. And so it's like, yeah,
Wow.
it's invaluable that time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what our whole show is about. How being in relationship. And I always say, don't do life alone. And I'm gonna add, if you can do it with someone in front of a meal, and then take a nap. Oh, girl.
Wait, are those your 3 tips for today?
Right. Good friend, good meal, take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something healing about it.
Yeah.
It could be someone who's out there who's listening or watching the show, and you're like, oh man, I wish I had that. If you want a good friend, you also have to show yourself friendly.
Yeah.
And so maybe you have to go that extra mile to, I know right now it's COVID and all that, but maybe you can put your mask on and ask someone to meet you at a restaurant, and you guys can sit there in front of a meal and just talk about whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
So if you want friends, you got to show yourself friendly. You can't just wait oftentimes for someone to come, and tap you on the shoulder. Sometimes you got to be the one tapping someone on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then showing interest, like you said, your friend going, okay, oh, tell me more about that, or what else
Yeah.
happened? And I have a friend, she always go, "What's new, girl? Like, what's new?" So I'd be like,
Mhm.
well, this like it just make me start thinking of things to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
actually having genuine interest in other people as well.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Don't do life alone. Don't do life in isolation. You don't have to. I think that's one of the biggest things that women face is that you've been hurt by other women, and so you're like, I don't do women. I rather have guy friends and all that. But I'm gonna tell you, it's something that another woman can understand you for, like, for real. She's walked maybe not totally in your shoes, but
Yeah.
she has some of the same experiences that you have, and just to be able to talk to someone about it. I remember, Roxy, you just said, oh, I'm not the only one going through this. You've been through that.
Mhm.
I when I was going through, I'm about to tell my age, menopause. I just remember like talking to women who have gone through it, and
Mhm.
and just to hearing like what I'm going through is not new. It's like, oh, okay. I remember one time I was just sweating so bad. Oh my God, because that's one of the signs. I'm just like sweating, fanning. And I remember this lady, I'm asking her like tons and tons and tons of questions. And she said, girl, you just gonna have to keep on fanning it. Because I'm like, give me a cure. And she's like, there is no cure. But even just to hear that, oh, you've gone through this. She's
Yeah.
gone through that phase. But we need people in our lives. It's just hugely important.
So Betty, what would you say for like the person? Let's say I'm an introvert. I've been kind of going through life on my own for a
Yeah.
while. So maybe I don't have those friends like readily there to reach out to. Like, what would you say to that person right now?
Yeah, well, you just reminded me of a story because I'm an introvert like that too. I have just maybe like 2, 3 good friends. That's it. I don't have like a tribe or anything. But I remember there was this lady at the church I used to go to, and we just connected. At church, you see somebody, you just like, oh, she would be my good friend. She would be a friend of mine. And I remember going up to her, it's like, would you like to get coffee sometime? I was so nervous. She's like, yeah. And so we planned a date and everything. I think we went to a bagel shop. And I didn't really hardly know what to say, but I was just trying to like keep conversation. We ended up being friends, but I didn't really know how then, but I think I took the first step. I'm like, I just asked, would you like to get coffee sometime? I don't know if that's what you're supposed to say, but that's what I said. And we went out and our family started doing things together and all that. But I would say to a person who's introvert, you got to step out of your shell
Mhm.
and just ask, you know. So where are you going to see people? I don't know if you're going into your office or you're working. I mean, workplace is always a good one. Your
Mhm.
neighbor, you know, that's people that you see, you know, often. Maybe somebody, you know, I don't know, Russ, you could speak more to this, the whole dating thing, you know, like, I don't know, do they have other places to meet other than dating? You know what I mean?
They do. I mean, okay. So I don't know what meetups. There used to be this Facebook meetups that they used to have
Okay.
where if you had the same interests, you like join this group and you meet up somewhere.
Okay.
So if you like movies, you maybe met up and did movies. So I don't know what they're doing now in the interim during COVID.
Mhm.
But I one of the things that I found is just sometimes I'll take like courses and stuff like
Mhm.
as I got into my coaching, of course I took my coaching classes, but even like some free classes I've taken
Mhm.
and based off my own interest, right? And so I've met classmates
Mhm.
who we connect in class and it's like, hey, did you
Mhm.
get what they were talking about? You just spark up a conversation about what
Yeah.
you're there for.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. It'd be a cooking class. I've seen a lot of online cooking classes
Mhm.
that are free
Mhm.
online like Zumba or something like that. But those are like good places where you could reach out to people and connect.
Yeah.
Especially because right now, even though it's more difficult to connect with people, I also feel like more people are looking for connection.
Oh yeah, for
So,
sure.
so I think more people are open.
Yeah. So I forgot the numbers, but I heard a stat. Right now, people are struggling with anxiety and loneliness, and suicide is on the rise. And
Yeah.
I think it's because no connection, you know.
Mm.
And we have to, you know, of course, you don't want to put yourself at risk, but you got to do what you got to do. Do Zoom calls, do something, you know, to make sure you're in connection with people. And then this show, we want to give you tips on how to navigate those relationships because you can run into a snag, you know,
Just a little snag here or
a
there.
little snag here and there with your friends, you know. Why did she say that, you know? And not throw the whole friendship away because of a misunderstanding, you know.
Ooh, yes.
You
Yes.
know. And
Okay, so wait, so we're talking about food, but I also think we're talking about how to be a good friend too, right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Go
yeah.
together, y'all. See how they
They
go.
go together. Good food, good friend. You be a good friend.
Because I'm hearing you say, Betty. So be proactive. Be willing to put yourself out there, and then be genuinely interested in your friend. Be
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whoever the other person sitting across from you, new acquaintance.
yeah,
And then don't be so quick to cut people off.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Things could be a misunderstanding.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, you know, you're good friends, you know, it could be, you know, a
Yeah,
misunderstanding. So
nice.
I think it's important if you do feel like you run into a snag with a friend, maybe just ask them, you know, well, what do you mean by that? Now you can't be the type of person that every single thing is like, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Come on now. Grow up a little bit. Grow up a little
Ask
bit.
it 5 times a day. What you
I
mean?
know.
What you mean? Hello.
You're like, I don't know if you're my friend type. You know, I think there are types, you know, but anyway,
I know friend types. That'd be cool.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
We need to
yeah,
investigate.
yeah.
So
So
friend of food. So what were we going to talk? The favorite foods.
favorite recipe, or you're gonna your favorite food, and then just tell us how to make it. And then I'll tell you how to make mine. We're just gonna talk.
Okay.
What's yours?
Hmm.
That
Okay.
you
I
know
don't
how
know
to.
how to make my favorite one that I just ate. Because I buy part of it from the store.
Okay, well, tell us that.
So my favorite like go to dish is this bowl from Mom's. So Mom's has like this little lunch area that it's I don't know, it's like a lunch bar.
Okay.
And so they all the food is vegetarian actually there.
Mhm.
And so they make these bowls and there's this bowl that they have that has like quinoa, farro, kale, black beans, carrots. Um, I think there are even like green peppers in there, feta cheese, avocado, and it's all just like mixed up in there with like, and they put this dressing in there too. Um, and so it's like, like a bowl, but just looks like a bunch of confetti, right?
Mhm.
So I bring it home. I always get that, and I will put that. It's warm, so I'll put that on a plate. I'll fry up an egg over easy. Told you I could put an egg on
Egg
anything.
on everything.
And then I'll get some sriracha, put some sriracha on it, and put the egg over, and it's so yummy, like, and feels healthy.
Yeah. Now I remembered again in one of our old episodes, you did kale and green and red pepper.
Yeah, kale and
Put
sweet
an egg on
pepper.
it. I can still see the colors were so vivid.
I told you I'll put that egg on, flop it on top of anything.
Hey, that is funny. Yeah.
Yes.
So one of my go-tos, and it's one of my favorites too. I can make some spaghetti, and it's not fancy at all. It's a quick one. Like if I'm making something, everybody will eat spaghetti in my house. So of course, it's just the regular noodles. Now we have done zoodles. So I have a zucchini, one of those. I don't know what you call it, where you can make the zucchini into noodles.
Mhm.
But only my husband will eat that. Me and my husband, the boys won't eat that. So I have spaghetti and just ground beef. And we've done Beyond Meat, we've done turkey meat. So any kind of meat that you like, you want to season it up with salt and pepper. Um, and then sometimes they love garlic in this house. So sometimes I'll put garlic powder or fresh garlic in it. And I've been doing green peppers and onions too in it. Cut them up real, real fine. Cook that all together. And I just use jar spaghetti sauce. And
Nice.
then jar spaghetti sauce. And then whip that up. So the noodles are done. The sauce is done. And we always have like some type of French bread. Aldi's has this baguette that if you can cut it. It's long and it's crispy on the outside and kind of crispy on the inside. And I slather that with butter and garlic. And I'm telling you, my family, they kill it. Sometimes I'll add spinach on the side or some broccoli or something like that. But yeah, that's my favorite easy go-to.
That sounds really good though.
Yeah, and it'll last for a couple of days because the pot of spaghetti sauce. You get a
Yeah.
size. You can eat on that for lunch and dinner.
I used to make that in college actually because for that reason, because we were
Yeah,
broke. So
yeah.
yeah, like, and I would make like this big old pot of spaghetti. My meatballs would be like this big.
Okay.
And it was really funny because we were in co-ed dorms, so it was
Mhm.
like every other floor was like women, men, whatever. And so our floor, we could make the spaghetti and meatballs, and there was a guy upstairs from us who could make fettuccine alfredo.
Oh.
We would trade and like cook, and, like trade food, and cook,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yeah,
because it lasts.
it
Yeah.
lasts. Yeah, that's another one they love in this house. Chicken Alfredo. So we'll make, and it's easy again because
Uh-huh.
we get the Alfredo sauce in a jar. We saute some chicken, do some fettuccine noodles, and whip that together. So I just, again, like we were saying, just to recap, it's so important to have good friends, you know, with good conversation, and a nice meal that, you can sit around and just be authentically who you are and just talk and talk, and,
Yeah.
just to get it all out. Even if you are introvert, even just being in the company of someone else who you find interesting, I think it's good for your soul.
Yeah.
Good, good. All right. Well, that concludes our episode. So, Roxy, you want to tell them where they can find us?
Yeah, so you can find us at Chat and Chew Show on Instagram or on Facebook. Also, please subscribe in whatever direction that it's in. And then also hit the bell to get notified for our new episodes, and like and comment and tell your friends. Thank you. See you.
Hey, you don't want to miss these upcoming episodes because we have some really great guests. some surprise guests. We can't even give you names right now, but you definitely don't want to miss it. So tell a friend, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
This episode is brought to you by the Chat and Chew Company. Host Betty Jones, co-host Roxanne Brew, producer Vanessa Outland, and music by Elwood Jones.